Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening. Welcome to Module 2 of our social media management course. I'm so excited because last week was amazing. Last week was mind blowing. Hello, Priska. Hello, Grace. Hello, Lillian. Good to see you guys here today. I'm very excited about today because I feel like today is going to be so exciting because we're going to be talking about content. So, throughout this week, we're going to be talking a lot about content creation, how we can create content. So, today, the topic of discuss for today is creating engaging social media content. And throughout last week, we looked at how you can craft out your target audience, what social media is, how you can set goals for as a social media manager. And then the next big thing and the next most important thing is creating engaging content for social media, right? So now you know your target audience, and now it's now time to now create engaging content. So it's not enough to just say, oh, I know my target audience. No, it's now time for you to create engaging social media content. Hello, everybody. Hello, Sharon. I see you, Nee. I see you, Jessica. I see you, Precious. Good to have everybody here. So I'm just going to go. So this is the agenda for the day, right? We have a lot in store for today. So I'm so excited. We are going to be learning a whole lot today. We're going to be looking at what content creation is, why content matters in social media, understanding your brand voice, steps on maintaining a consistent brand voice, how to write content ideas, how to create content consistently, developing a content calendar, and creating content for different social media platforms. You guys, we have so many things in store for you all today. Like there are so many things that you're going to learn today. You're going to learn how you can create content, how you can write content ideas, how you can understand your brand voice, and so many other things. So welcome, everybody. It's good to have you here. Let me see all the emojis coming in, and then we're just going to do a formal introduction for formality's sake. So hello, everyone. Welcome to Module 2, Lesson 1 of our Social Media Management course. Today, we are going to learn how to make really engaging content, and emphasis on really engaging, because we're not just making regular content, right? I'm going to teach you how you can make really engaging content for social media. And this skill is super important if you are just starting out as a social media manager, or you want to improve the skills that you already have. So throughout this lesson, I'll teach you how you can create posts that grabs attention and helps you to connect with your audience. So let's get started and let's get right into the course for today. Good evening, everybody. I see you, Chiamaka. I see you, Niyo. I see everybody. Love to have you guys here with me today. So yeah, what is content? I'm sure we always hear like about content this, content that. We hear a lot about content right nowadays, and the truth is there are some what's it called now, there are some things that I need to debunk. There are some myths, because some people feel that, oh, content is just for influencers, so influencers are the only one that create content, and there are so many like funny things or funny views or perspectives that we have concerning content. Some people feel like, oh, only content creators create content, but as a social media manager, you're also a content creator as well. That's something that you should actually come to terms with. As far as you put something out there, as far as you put a piece of content out there, you are a content creator, right? And like in social media, content is just a piece of information. It could either be a post, it could be an image, or it could be a video that you share with your audience. So basically, that is as simple as it gets. That is literally what content is. Content is a piece of information. It doesn't have to be only videos all the time. It can be a blog post. That is a content. It can be a blog post, it can be a website post, whatever it is, right? That is content. And one most important thing that you must understand is that your content, it must do three things for you now. It must engage your followers, it must make your brand stand out, and it must tell a story. So if your content is not doing any of these, then sorry, it's not really doing anything, because that is not content. Because your content in itself, it must engage your followers. It's something that your followers should see, and they should be like, oh my god, I want to engage with this. I want to give my opinion, I want to give my 2 cents on this, right? So that is what content basically is. I hope we are following. I hope we're already getting the ginger in this class. And then now I spoke about what content is. Now, content creation. So content creation is the act. It's literally the act of creating content. So it's content creation is all about making things that grab people's attention, and emphasis on grab people's attention. So if you are putting out something that is only grabbing your attention, that your audience cannot consume on, then it is literally not content. Because the whole point of making content is that it must grab attention, right? It could either be a picture, it could be a video, or it could even be just words. There are some kind of like carousels. I don't know if you know about carousels, like this set of pictures that you see on Instagram. They will just be a set of pictures. They won't really see anything, but when you swipe through them, you can see that they are telling a particular type of story, and you are engaged, you are intrigued, you're like, oh my god, I love this. So as far as content is concerned, or as far as content creation is concerned, it must be able to grab people's attention online. And the goal is to create things that people will enjoy seeing and they want to share with others. So for example, I'm just scrolling on my Instagram page, and then I see a really nice comedy video, and then I'm like, I love this video, let me comment. And I comment laughing emoji and all of that. And then I now go ahead to now share it to my family group chat, or I go ahead to share it to my friends. That's to tell you that that content has done its job. That content has engaged me. That content, I've already consumed that content as a target audience, right? So you must understand that that is what content is. Now I'm trying to change your view of whatever you thought content was before. This is what content is. Content grabs attention. Content, when they see your content, they should want to stop and scroll, right? That is the most important intent of what your content should be like. And then here we can see some examples of content. And obviously I couldn't put videos on here because it will start misbehaving and malfunctioning. So I just put out some graphic flyers that I did in the past year, so you can already see this. Like the headline alone is going to draw your attention, because like, what sets you apart as on LinkedIn as a creator? You yourself, you want to look through this, you're like, oh my god, I want to see the people that are on this flyer. I want to actually be a part of this, right? And then you can see all the other flyers, content. So your content doesn't have to be just videos. It can be flyers, but make sure that you always try to use catchy colors. You try to use things that are eye catchy, that when people see, it will grab their attention, they will stop and scroll, right? So that is very important. So these are just a few examples of content. We also have videos and all of that as well. Welcome everybody, love to see you guys here. And then yeah, I've talked about what content is. I said that content is an image or a video, something that tells your brand story, engages your audience, and it also engages people, right? And then now I talked about the act of content creation itself, which is making things that will grab people's attention. And now you may be wondering, okay, what's really the importance of content in social media? And the first point here says, without content, there's no social media. Now, imagine you are scrolling through Instagram and you don't see any pictures, you don't see any videos. Don't you even feel sad? You'll be like, oh my God, what's happening? Has Instagram gone off, or is Instagram experiencing some issues? Because naturally, you already know that Instagram in itself is content. The purpose of social media is content, for people to come and consume content. So if there is no content, there's literally no social media. So now imagine if you are seeing content with this eye view, if you are seeing content this way, your mind as social media manager, you're already going to be saying like, oh my god, I have to put out content today. I have to let people consume something for my brand today, right? So content in itself is social media. Social media is what content is what makes up social media. So you must understand that without no pictures, without no videos, Instagram is not Instagram, right? And the second point here states, content gets people talking, liking, and sharing, and keeping them involved with your brand. Content is that thing that will bring people together. For example, you see something on Insta blog, one really interesting gist, people will start commenting, everybody will start giving their 2 cents on it. Everybody, in fact, even the people that don't even know about the gist, they will come and start putting their 2 cents. Everybody wants to be involved when it comes to content. So content is something that gets people talking. Like when there's content, people are talking. If you are putting out content as a social media manager and people are not talking, girl, boy, you have to go and do something about it, because your content is probably boring, sorry to say. Because if you are putting out content and people are not liking, people are not giving their 2 cents, then literally, like, there's no really is it really a point for that content, right? And then secondly, regular and good content helps people to see and remember your brand among all others on social media. So if you are the type that you only go and post on social media on Monday, and then the next time we'll see you is next Monday, people would have forgotten about your brand, Tete, because there are other brands. They're not the only one that sells cakes. Other people sell cakes, and will see other cake content on a daily. And you know, I don't know if this thing has happened to you before, but when you are scrolling through Instagram and they are just scrolling on your phone, and then you're looking at a particular content, before you even say Jack Robinson, the content has flown away, it has been refreshed, right? That is to say how, like, social media even makes, like, people's content irrelevant. Because I mean, before you even say you want to finish scrolling through that particular one, another one has come up. You're like, oh my god, they are now interested in another content again, right? So content just has a way of making people to remember your brand. So if you're that social media manager that you only post once, I'm sorry to say, but people are going to forget about you. So that is why content is important. Content will make people or your target audience to remember your brand. They'll be like, oh wow, these people posted today, wow, like it, comment, blah blah, right? And then the other point here says, Content lets you tell your brand story and values, making a connection with your audience. Now, something that people love is that they love emotional connection. They want to be connected with you, right? They want to feel among. They want you to give them gist. They want you to give them information about you and your brand. They want to see where your brand was before and where it is now. They want to see your story. They want to follow your story. They want to be connected to you. They want to feel connected, and that's something that content does for you. Content will help you to connect with your target audience. It can be through a regular video. That video, people, they will feel like, oh my god, this is so emotional. I love this advertisement from this brand. I'm going to like it. I'm going to share to other people. They love emotional things, right? So that is one other strategy that you can use as a social media manager. You can use that emotional card. People love to be seen. They want to be heard, right? And then the other point here says interesting content gets people to take action, like visit your website or buy your product, also help your business grow. So for example, I'm scrolling through a particular fashion brand page and I see that they are doing this OOTD. So OOTD just means like outfit of the day. So this particular model is just changing clothes and she's showing us her accessories and her clothes and everything. And I'm so in love with that video. And I was so drawn to that video. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this dress that this girl is wearing. I want to get it for myself. I think it's going to look good on me. And then I go ahead to go to their page. And on their page, I just look at their bio and then I see their website. I just click on it. So that's what content does for you as a brand. Content helps people to actually take an action with your brand, because they're like, because your website is all the way there. You cannot come and be showcasing your website on Instagram all the time. When you put out content, then people are like, oh my God, I want to know more. I want to know more about this product. I want to know more about this product. And then they go ahead to take action. They either visit your website, they either buy your product, and then that way it helps your business grow. So content, if you did not know this before, when you are putting out content, it's not just for posting sake. It helps your business to grow. So if you understand this, then you understand that you strategically have to put out content all the time. You cannot just say, oh, it's time to post, I'll just post anything, post. No, you must understand that content helps your business to grow. And the time you understand that every single thing that you do on Instagram actually says something about your brand, the better you understand it and the better you start acting according to plan, or you start acting according to your goal, because you know that, oh, this thing that I'm doing is going to say something about my brand later. This thing that I'm doing is going to help my business grow, so let me do it well. Because sometimes as social media managers, we can just get so caught up in just waking up every day, we'll post on Monday, post on Tuesday, post on Wednesday, post on Friday, and the cycle goes on. But you must understand that when you put out content, it's doing something for your brand. Is it that helping people to know about your brand? Is it that helping your business to grow? And it's just doing something for your brand. So everything that you put out there is doing something for your brand, whether you like it or not. I hope we are following. I hope we are gaining perspective. Let me see our comments. Let me see if you are following, if you are enjoying this topic. So yeah, and then now, just a little break. So as a social media manager, for you to create engaging content on behalf of your brand, you must first understand your target audience. And I've been hammering on these things since last week. If you don't understand the people that you are creating content for, then will you really be able to create the content in the right way? No. So you must understand your target audience. You must understand the people that you are creating content for. When you understand them, then you are now able to create content for them well. And not only that, there are two things involved. You must understand your target audience, and you must also understand your brand voice. That is very important. Now, I gave that example. I gave it last week. For example, now you check on CarryWise, and then you see that the social media handler, social media manager posted something about them. Spend all your money this Valentine. After all, you only live once. Spend all your savings. You don't need them. Just spending. And then you now pause for a minute and say, wait, oh, is this not the CarryWise that I know, that they are always talking about goals? They're always talking about saving. They're always talking about planning for the future. And then I'm seeing spend all your savings. Are you sure they've not hacked their account? So those are the things that will be coming to mind. So that is why it's important that as a social media manager, you must understand your brand voice. You must understand how your brand is speaking, right? Let me know if you can see my video or in the comment section, because some people are complaining. Let me know if you can see my video, if you can see everything good. Let me see yes. Let me see yes, I can see it, right? So you must understand your brand voice. That's very important. And then also, I'm just gonna be speaking on understanding your brand voice, right? So understanding your brand voice. Thank you, Anita. Understanding your brand voice is very important, and crucial for a social media manager. So as a social media manager, you must understand your brand voice so that you don't go and misinterpret your brand online. It is important that you understand how your brand wants to be perceived, because for instance, I give that example, right? The audience, they're like, oh my god, this is not how Carrie Wise used to speak. So maybe they're either it's two things. Maybe they've had their account, or maybe their social media manager has been changed. So you can see how the things that you think that people don't notice, they notice it online. So, for example, you might think that, oh, let me just post this caption today. I can't really think about captions. Let me just post it anyhow. No, you must always be mindful of those things, because it's your brand voice, and the way you speak to your audience online, that is the same way they will communicate with you, right? So you must understand your brand voice as a social media manager, because it helps you to guide how to present your brand online and how to communicate with your audience. If you are speaking to your audience in a lovely manner, you're like, oh, hello loves, happy new week, have a beautiful week ahead. That is the same vibe they will give to you back. So you must make sure that you are not misinterpreting your brand voice online. You must understand, and as little as this thing is, it is something that is very important. You must understand your brand voice before you go ahead and start managing a page. You must ask them, oh, how is your brand voice like? Is it friendly? Is it professional? Is it casual? You must understand right? And your brand voice is that distinct tone and style that sets your brands apart. So now we have so many cake brands on Instagram. We have so many fashion brands. What sets them apart is their brand voice, is their tone, is their image, because they can as well just be like different cake brands and they will not know who is who. But what sets them apart is their tone, is their voice. So as a social media manager, you must understand your brand voice. It is very key. I'm hammering on this because I know how important that it is, right? And that way, by understanding your brand's voice, you can create content that is genuine, that is consistent, and that is relatable. So when you understand your brand voice, you are able to be consistent. You are consistent with the manner at which you communicate to your audience. You are not saying this today and you are saying this tomorrow. You are being consistent with what it is that you are saying, because you already understand how your brand speaks. You already understand how your brand is going to be perceived online. So that is very important. If you're a social media manager here and you don't understand your brand voice, I will urge you to go back and go and ask the person in charge. Go and ask your CEO, oh, how should we speak online? What are our brand values and vision like? And go and learn about those things again. It's not too late. We unlearn and we'll learn every day. So go and learn all those things, right? And then now, steps on maintaining a consistent brand voice. Now, I've told you how important it is to understand your brand voice and know your brand image, because that way, I told you that when you are putting your content online, it's saying something about your brand. So you must make sure that every content that you put out there is consistently saying the right thing for your brand. So the first point here is you must understand the brand's personality. Whether your brand personality is friendly, is professional, is casual. So that is a way that you can be consistent, right? When you understand your brand personality, you're like, oh, my brand, they talk in a Gen Z type of way, they talk in an Ote type of way. So yeah, you already understand, and you can be consistent by understanding that. And secondly, obtain brand guidelines. If you're not the brand owner, I said it before, if you're not the brand owner, if they just give you, oh, start managing this fashion brand for us, you now go ahead to now ask the CEO or the manager that is involved, oh, sorry, please, can you give me an a brochure or something, a document that talks about your brand value, so that I can know? Because see, what you don't know, and what you know, they are very important things. Because if you don't know something about your brand, then you will start putting another thing, what you know, there, right? So you must understand that, oh, this is their vision, this is their value, this is how they want to be communicated online. So you must understand that, and you must go ahead to go and obtain your brand guideline. And then the third point here says align brand fonts, colors, and image. One thing that I dislike seeing is when one day a particular brand, they use this color, and then the other day they use red, the other day they use purple, the other day they use green. And don't get me wrong, there are some brands that they're just free with their colors like that. They're just free with their colors. They use different colors every day. But if your brand is the one that they are strict about, their using their brand colors, not using anyhow colors. So you make sure that you are consistent with the colors. There are some brands that you check their page, their social media, and all you see is blue and white, blue and white, blue and white. They are consistent. They are consistent with the way their brand is presented online. They are not just using any color. They are not just using any shade of green. They are using a particular shade of green. And they are not just posting one day and they will put one logo there. The other day you see another logo there. In fact, when you think that your audience don't notice all these things, but they do notice it. I think there was one time that I posted on a brand page that I was managing, and then somebody had to comment. I was like, "Oh, are you sure this is the color you guys use, or this is the logo?" Something along that line. So what you think that people don't notice, they actually notice. So if you want to maintain a consistent brand voice and image for your brand, you must make sure that you always use the right brand fonts, the right colors, the right images. And one thing that is also very important, you must use the right font. Don't go and use them. If you are the one that creates the graphic for the brand, you use Canva. Don't go and use DM Sans them fonts today. Tomorrow you go and use them feeling passionate. That's the type of font, right? So you must understand that you must be consistent with the font, you must be consistent with the color, you must be consistent with the logo. And the other point here says adapt tone for each platform. So you know how different social media platforms have their different vibes. So on Instagram they have a different vibe, on Twitter they have a different vibe, LinkedIn they have a different professional kind of vibe. So now that's where your brand, your expertise comes in as a social media manager. Now you already understand the tone or the way your voice, the way your brand speaks, right? So you now say, okay, since this is how they talk on Twitter, I'll just tweak my brand voice a little. So you're not changing your brand voice, you're just tweaking it a little bit to match the vibe of each social media platform. I hope we are getting this. I hope you are getting the vibe of everything that I'm saying. Okay, so next slide. Now, I've taught you how you can maintain a consistent brand voice, why it's important that you must understand your brand voice. Now, how can I write content ideas? And now this is what a lot of social media managers, they always get this thing wrong. Like they're always asking every time, how do I write content ideas? I'm always blank of content ideas. I don't know how to write content. How is the process like? How do I do it? Now I'm going to be showing the real process of how I actually write my content ideas. And this is a very practical step. This is a very practical way of writing content, right? Number step one, before going ahead to write your content idea, the first thing you must do is to understand your audience really well. And I said it before, because sometimes some people will be like, I beg Joy, it's not important, let me just write number one content for Monday, 5 ways that I can slay with this dress. Number two, 3 ways that you can. No, you are getting it all wrong. The first step into writing your content ideas for your brand is to understand your brand. And I hammered on this thing last week. When you understand the person that your target audience that you are creating, what's it called? You are creating content for. You know what they like, you know what they do not like, you know their pain points, you know their challenges. You are able to write content for them that they can relate with. Step two, once you know your audience, think about the things that they struggle with or the types of content that they would love to that they would love to see, right? You can also ask them on Instagram, oh, what kind of content do you like? You can ask them using polls. And Instagram has this really nice feature now. I don't know if you know it, but when you want to post on Instagram and then they have these polls, and then you can ask them questions that you can put yes or no there, or you can put true, false, and all those other things. So that is another way of now getting the opinion of your audience. You're now asking them, okay, are you going to like this kind of content? So you can post a particular kind of content one day and you can ask them, oh, what do you guys think about this new style of content? Do you guys love it? Do you guys like it? Let me know your comments. And then you now see people start voting yes, no, true, false. So that is another important way that you can also write your ideas, because you can be like, oh, I think they like this style of content, I'm going to incorporate this in when I'm writing my content. And then step three, write out your content pillars. Your content pillars are things that will form the basis of your content. So for example, you're a finance brand, so your content pillars will be, please take note of this, your content pillars are very important, because your content pillars will now form your content ideas that you have, right, or you create on a regular basis. So your content pillars, for example, let's say you are a finance brand. I'm always using finance, I don't know why. So your content pillars can be goal setting, your content pillars can be self-development, your content pillars can be finances. So those are the three major things that you talk about as a brand. And I would say that don't make it more than 4. Maximum, let your content pillars be 4, right? So if you're a social media manager, you can say, okay, I talk about social media management, I talk about content writing, I also speak about content creation. So those are your 3 content pillars. So when you know this, you're able to create content well. You're not trying to create content out of your niche, because you already know your content pillars. Please, I hope we are getting this. This is very important. You must understand your content pillar as a brand, so that you're not just going out of point every day. You are posting about money today, tomorrow you are posting about fashion, tomorrow you are posting about lifestyle. One effective way of creating content ideas is to make sure that you are in line with your niche. You are in line with what your content pillars, right? That is very important. And then also step 4, get inspiration. You guys, it's not every time. Sometimes you brainstorm and you'll be tired. Sometimes you'll be facing creative blocks and you need other ways to get ideas, right? And then these are some helpful websites that I use. Uber Suggest, ChatGPT, Google. Google is a very, some people they sleep on Google a lot, because one thing about Google is that people, a lot of people ask them lots of things on Google every day, right? Even today I've asked Google something. So yesterday or today, something like that, right? So Google, they have a way of storing people's data. So when I'm asking about social media management, Google is just keeping everything. They are keeping all the questions. And then when you go on Google and then you just search something about social media management, and then you I don't know if you know this other column, when you scroll down a bit on Google, and then you see like other questions or other suggestions, and then you start going down, you start seeing some questions. Those are some ways that you can get content ideas from there. There's also this really amazing website that I use, Answer the Public. So they have data for everything in the world, whether it's skincare, whether it's fashion. I urge you guys to actually go and check this out after this lesson. Whether it's skincare, whatever it is, they have data for everything. So for example, you're a social media manager and you used to create content for your social media brand page. You can now go and type on Answer the Public social media management. And under there, you will see all. I wish I could show you guys now, but you could see all the ideas, all the things that people ask concerning social media management. So that already is a gold mine. That's already, you can get a lot of content ideas from there. And then step 5, once you have ideas, organize them in a content calendar. So don't now say, oh, I've already written my content ideas for today. Then tomorrow you're not like, this idea that I wrote, is it for Monday or for Tuesday? Or is it for Wednesday or for Thursday? And you're now confused. So that's where a content calendar comes in, right? When you have a content calendar, you're now able to organize your ideas into different ways, right? Oh, you're asking the name of the website. So we have Answer the Public, we have ChatGPT, we have Uber Suggest. I'm going to note it down after this class anyways. So yeah, you must organize your ideas in a content calendar. Now, I've taught you how you can write down content ideas. Now, how do I create content consistently as social media manager? Now, it is one thing to write content ideas, and then it's one thing to now be consistent. Because I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but sometimes you already have all the content that you want to post that week, but Monday just comes and you're not feeling the vibe and you don't just post for some reason. And that's really weird to me. I used to feel like that sometimes. Like I already have the ideas, but like I'm just like, I don't feel like posting. And then like this is the way you can actually create content consistently as social media manager, right? Number 1, create a content calendar. I already said this. And me, I make use of Asana and I make use of Notion as well. Let me know if you guys want to see a full tutorial on using these calendars or creating them. I already have some short tutorials, but they are not detailed, right? So as a social media manager, you'll be tasked to create and post content on various social media platforms. And most times the content type for different platforms varies. So for example, the content for Instagram might not be the content for LinkedIn because they are different platforms. They might be similar, but they might not be the same. The content for Instagram might not be the same for Twitter, right? So you need to have a content calendar where you can write out and plan out ideas for each day of the week, right? And that will help you to be consistent and organized, because whether you like it or not, as far as the content calendar is there, you just check on Monday. Oh, what's up for Monday? Oh, this is what I'm going to post. You post it. I don't know if you can see this thing on my screen, but this Astana that has this pink and yellow and whatever. So it just helps me to group everything, right? So that time I was posting 3 times a day. So I just highlighted everything I was going to post every day. And that makes it so much easier, because that way you're not waking up today and you're like, so am I going to post today? Oh, I don't have anything to post today. Let me just sleep. I'll post tomorrow. So when you have content calendars, you are able to be consistent. You can make use of apps like Asana. You can make use of apps like Microsoft Excel. You can make use of apps like Notion, like Trello, and all of that, right? So if you want to create content consistently as social media manager, I advise that you make use of content calendars, right? And then second point, randomly write out content ideas at every chance. This is something that I always do, and I enjoy doing it, right? Every day I'll just sit and I'll just think, and I'll just be scrolling through Instagram and I'll just see a really nice content that I like. And then I'll now draw inspiration from it, and then I'll write my own idea. So randomly try to write out ideas at any chance that you get. Don't be waiting for Monday and you'll not be like, oh my, I didn't write idea for Monday, or I beg, I'm not post today, let me post on Wednesday. No, when you randomly write out ideas, then you have a full bulk of ideas. I have this note that I have all my ideas that I keep. So I keep all my ideas in here. So I have a lot of ideas that I put in this journal, right? So you should have a book like that as well, where you store all your ideas that you just randomly write, and you're just like, oh my God, I think this idea will be good on Instagram. Then you just write it down. That's another way of being consistent. And then also batch create. I don't even joke with this one at all, because sometimes some people, some social media managers, they'll be giving excuses like, I'm sick today. Oh. That's a valid, very valid reason. Great. But when you have, when you batch create, when you create content before time, when you have a whole lot of videos that you have created, a whole lot of flyers, a whole lot of content that you have created aside, then you will not have to give excuses. You will not have to say, oh, I don't know what I'm going to post today. Oh, I don't really know. I don't have an idea. That way, you just go and pick out content from your CapCut app or wherever it is that you edited that, and you just post. You don't have to stress yourself. So even days when you are experiencing like creative blocks and you're like, I don't know what to do today, oh, you can now go ahead to now go and batch create, right? So that's very important as well. And then other point here says repurpose your content. A lot of social media managers don't do this, right? So for example, your brand, they have a blog that they write blogs and newsletters and all of that. And then you have a social media management page as well. So let's say on Instagram, you just post 5 ways that you can boost your immune system. You write that on Instagram and it's like a carousel format. You cannot, do you know that you can also repurpose that content and write it in long form and now put it on your blog? So you don't always have to be saying, you don't always have to be wasting your ideas. Let me just call it that, even though it's not wasting your idea, but you can also use that idea that you posted on Instagram. You can also change it to another thing. And one thing that I do sometimes when I'm blank of ideas, I just scroll to my Instagram page and I'll just scroll to some of my videos that I've published in the past. And I'll be like, it'll be nice to do this video another way. You can do it another way. You can actually do it another way. So that's another way of like being consistent. You can repurpose your content. So that way you're not always blank of ideas. You're not always thinking, what am I going to post? So you can always repurpose your content as well. Don't think that, people have seen it before. You might be surprised. People will not even remember when you repurpose that particular content, right? So yeah, that is that about that. And then also engage with your audience. When you engage with your audience, you get inspiration from them. They ask sometimes, even sometimes when some people ask me, Bruno, do you have this particular course? When they ask me, they're not telling me what, they're not telling me, and I'm not like, oh, wow, I think I should actually create this course. So when you engage with them, they give you ideas and you don't know. They give you inspiration and you don't know, right? So that it is very important that you engage with your audience. When you're in the comment section, you now, if you, let's say for example, you post something on your Instagram and nobody is commenting sort of, and then you can just go ahead to now comment something and be like, oh, what do you guys think about this post? And then you just see people, they start commenting and they start giving their 2 cents, right? So it's very important that you engage with your audience as well. Very, very important. And then now, I've told you how you can create content consistently, how you can write out content ideas. And now, how do I create content for different social media platforms? Now, some people will be like, you have just told us the general thing, like how we can create content. Now, what can't you tell us how you can create content on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter? Because those platforms are like a different ball game in itself. They are different platforms, right? So I'm going to tell you how you can. You guys, you can see how loaded this course is. Please, I hope we are listening. I hope we are feeling the course. Let me know, because this is a lot, right? And then so how do I tailor content for different social media platforms? So I'm going to be starting with Instagram. Firstly, most importantly, you must understand that everything on Instagram is visual. We have videos, we have reels, we have pictures, and we have so many things on Instagram. So before you now said, okay, let me create content for Instagram, you must now know that, does my target audience, do they actually hang out on Instagram? So that you don't waste your time, right? You must know that, okay, that way you must have already created your target audience portfolio. You must already know your target audience. So you must know whether or not your target audience are on Instagram. So you must first understand if they're on Instagram or not. And then secondly, do a competitive research on your competitors that have been on Instagram for a while. So for example, you're a skincare brand or you're a fashion brand and you're just going into the space and then you don't really know a lot of things, or you're just managing the page for the first time. Now I will advise that you go and do a research on people that have been there before, right? So for example, you go and check out. I'm not saying you should go and copy people's content and go and write all the content. No. I'm saying that you should do a research on them. So you should see, what's working for them? How do they engage with their audience? How do they deliver their content? Because since you guys have a similar brand, so you can go ahead to do a competitive research, right? And then secondly, I already talked about this. I hammered about this last week. Set clear goals that you want to achieve on Instagram using a strategy. You can go back to the other lesson. I'm not going to be spending too much time on this, but you must set clear goals. What's the goal that you want to achieve with your Instagram? Do you want to boost community engagement? Do you want to get more leads? Do you want to get more sales? Set goals for your Instagram. That way, you are now writing your content with intent. You're writing your content with a goal in mind. So you're not just writing any content, you are writing that content because you have a goal that you want to achieve. So whenever you want to write content for Instagram, you should put this in place as well. And then also, Instagram has various content formats like photos, videos, stories, and reels. So make sure to create content that your audience would love. And me, I always advise any day, anytime that when you're on Instagram, always create reels, because reels are very, very good with the engagement. They are very good with the engagement. People love to see videos more than pictures, no, normally on normal basis. So always try to create reels as well. And then also create interactive content on Instagram, content that will make your audience engage with you. Now, emphasis on interactive. Don't go and on Instagram and just go and put any video there. Put something that is interactive. Put something that when you ask yourself, you're like, oh my god, do you think my audience would actually engage with this? And you're like, yes, I think they will engage with it. You ask from other people, you ask their opinion. Do you think that this content is good? Do you think I can post it? Make sure that your contents are very interactive. And on Instagram, I recommend that you can put, people love to see how-to videos, they love to see reviews, they love to see tutorials, they love to see day in the life, stuff like that. They love to see it on TikTok as well. So make sure that you do this as well. And also utilize your Instagram story. A lot of people sleep on story. I don't know, maybe because they think that it's extra work. So some social media managers, they just love to prevent, they just love to avoid Instagram story. They're just like, oh my god, I beg. Did nobody ask me to post on story? I'm just going to post on feed and just run away. Yeah, actually, I won't say you're doing yourself, because Instagram story is very important. Because sometimes what I notice is that the amount of people that engage on my normal post, I don't know if you have noticed this as well. The amount of people that engage on my normal Instagram post, there are even times too that engage on my story. Because a lot of people are always looking, they're always looking through stories, because stories is something that is a bit personal. So whenever you are resting on your bed, you're just always scrolling and just looking at stories. That's the same way your audience are also looking at your stories too. So you must make sure that your stories are interactive, and your stories are very interactive. So for example, you have a website and you posted a particular blog, and I like this thing that is on Instagram now, where you can attach a link and then put it on your story. So let's say you publish a new article and you're like, oh my god, I think you guys should check this article. It's really interesting. You go ahead to post it on your Instagram. Put some funny videos on your Instagram story. Engage your audience. Always try to do that. I always try to do that with my audience as well, just to keep them engaged. So that is also a closed space. You also should utilize your Instagram story as well for the brands that you manage, or your own personal brand. And then also craft compelling captions that tell a story or share valuable information. Now, you don't only have to use the storytelling technique for your captions, you can also use them for your videos as well. Imagine I say, oh, buy this shoe, it has a nice color. Or I now go ahead to now give a story of how, like, my dad had this particular shoe and he really loved it. Which one will you be interested, or you will be engaged in more? You obviously be engaged with the one that I told a story, because it is more interesting. It is more like, it is more, I won't say it is more inspiring. People want to hear stories. They don't just want you to just come on Instagram and just put, oh, these are the benefits of the product. No, they want you to tell a story. They want you to tell a story of how this product changes particular client's life. So always make sure to use storytelling as well. Even in your captions, you can feel free to tell a story there and then get people's opinion, right? People always love to add their 2 cents. A lot of people on social media don't like minding their business. So keep them engaged. Let them not actually mind their business, right? Let them be engaging with your content. And then also, don't be afraid to try new ideas. I always say it. Try, if you're a social media manager, you're just managing the brand for the first time. Try as much as you can try. Try reels, try carousels, try photos, try videos, try things and see the one that works best for your brand, and then now start doing that consistently, right? And that's that about Instagram. And now Facebook is a little bit different from Instagram. People on Facebook, I won't say that they are more, I don't know, I'm not going to be saying that here, but people on Facebook, they are just different from people on Instagram, right? So first of all, the first thing that you should do is that you should understand who your Facebook followers are. Because Facebook people, they can be very, they can be like, I don't know how to explain them, but they can be somehow. So you must understand your Facebook followers, their interest, and how they use the platform. That's the first thing that you must know if you want to create content for Facebook, right? And then secondly, clearly define what you want to achieve with your Facebook content. Whether it's driving traffic, just as I said for Instagram as well, you must have a goal behind everything, every of your posts. You must, either it is generating leads, either it is boosting brand awareness. You must have your goal for Facebook as well. And then also look out for topics that your Facebook followers would love. I don't know, Facebook, they have this sort of like group thing going on. So a lot of people on Facebook, they have different interests. Some people, they love to see They love to see very funny videos. They love to see motivational videos. They love to see how-to videos. So Facebook, they are very, I won't call them, they are kind of group like, they actually have particular interests. That's why they are on that platform. So you must understand the topics that your Facebook followers will actually love. Maybe it could be how to's, it could be inspiring stories. Facebook people, they like all those things. They like motivating stories. They like all these what they call them now. They like memes. They like all these funny Sabino's video. They love to see all those things. So feed them with that, right? And make a list of topics that you would share with them regularly as well. And then also Facebook supports various types of content like text posts, images, live streams, polls. Choose the format that you think will go best with your audience, right? And go with that as well. And then also plan your Facebook content in advance with a content calendar. That goes for Instagram as well. Always make sure that you use a content calendar. This will help you to be more consistent. And then you can also use that content calendar on Meta Business Suite as well. So you don't have to go all the way to a standard. So if you're a social media manager and you're managing Instagram and Facebook for a brand, right? So you can just use your Meta Business Suite. There's a planner there where you can just plan all your content and it will just publish straight. So what it does for you is that you can create a calendar there and you can also schedule your post there. So that is really amazing. I think you should do that as well. And then the other point here stays, create content that encourages interaction. So make sure, I said this before for Instagram, make sure that your content is something that is interacting, it's something that is engaging, it's something that people will love to see, right? So that is very, very important as well. And then that is that about Facebook. And then Twitter. Twitter is a different ball game on its own. Twitter is not Instagram's mate, or it's not Facebook mate, or it's not LinkedIn's mate, right? So before you go ahead to share content on Twitter, you must make sure that your audience actually hangs out on Twitter. Because I've had a problem with a brand in the past. Like they're like, oh, post on Twitter. But I'm like, oh no, your audience is not on Twitter. I don't think it would be ideal to post on Twitter. And when you're a social media manager, be careful with your mouth. Be careful with your mouth. Don't just go and tell your CEO that, oh, our audience is not there, so I cannot post on Twitter. Girl, they will sack you. So be careful. There's a way that you present it to them and you explain to them that, oh, this is what you're, because many of them, they don't know about target audiences. They don't know about how it's important to be on the important platform. So you tell them that, oh, I think that our audience is not here, so it is better that we put more energy on Instagram and Twitter, and you explain to them so that they actually understand. Not the one that you just open your mouth and just be saying a lot of things, and then at the end of the day you get stuck. That will not be your portion. So then the other point here says you have to be up to date. See, if you are going to be hanging out on Twitter, if you are going to be hanging out with Twitter people, then you have to be up to date. You cannot be outdated. You can't be using Facebook terms on Twitter. Please. Right? If you're going to be on Twitter, you have to be woke. You have to know the trends. You have to keep up with the trends, right? And then also using hashtags is very necessary on Twitter, because Twitter has like these trending topics and all these things going on. And then when you use hashtags, people can also see your posts and all of that. So yeah, by all means, use hashtags, relevant hashtags. And then the other point here says, make sure to use catchy phrases and words for your tweet. So don't go and be doing as if you are telling stories on Twitter. Nobody's going to read your tweet. Don't go and put 10 lines and think that people are going to read it. They're not going to read it. Try to keep your tweets very short and sweet. Like try to be controversial by all means, right? If you want to tweet on Twitter, don't go about start writing story. Then nobody really cares on Twitter. They're just going to scroll and then nobody's going to engage with your tweet, right? So make sure to use catchy phrases and words on Twitter. And then also the other point, utilize Twitter Spaces. A lot of people love to be on Twitter Spaces. In fact, Twitter Spaces is the number one time waster. It's a good thing, but sometimes you can just get so caught up and then you're just in a space and then you see yourself, the time is 1:30 in the morning and you're still there listening. So that's why it's a good thing. It's a good thing as well for your brand, right? Utilize it to interact with your audience as well. That's a good way. And then also increase your engagement on Twitter by asking your audience. So you can ask them things on posts. Twitter has this post thing that you can ask them questions and they would want to engage with it, right? And then also keep your tweets very short and concise. I already talked about this. Don't go around writing poems on Twitter or writing stories on Twitter. Nobody's going to listen to it. Make sure to keep your tweets very short and concise. And then also there's this feature that I really love on Twitter. So for example, if you are a brand that you have a website, maybe you guys post like editorials, all of that, blogs and all of that, then you can now go ahead to now even promote your website on Twitter, because Twitter has the link feature. So if you write a particular blog, you can just put it on Twitter and be like, oh guys, check it out, this is really good, right? That is another way of also engaging your audience with your website content as well. So yeah, that is that about that. So oh my god, you guys, this was a lot. This is like the longest class I've ever had. Let me know if you understand the topic of the day. Let me know if you got a lot of things from here on how to create content, how to write out content ideas, how to understand your brand voice. Let me know, you guys. Give me some comments. Give me some comments down below. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about something very interesting as well. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And see you tomorrow. Please pour me with your comments. Leave the emojis. Subscribe to my channel. Say thank you. So thank you very much, everybody. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye.